In today's World Foreign Coin video, we're going to go through the coins that are in flips on the pile in front of us. And this stack of coins came from the same dealer as my previous three videos, the ones that I called the Wild, Insane Mystery Lot. That particular dealer must have purchased a foreign coin collection from someone and then was definitely selling it to make a profit, but to unload it. And so when I was going through his bags of random coins, he said, "We think we found all of the silver coins." As it turns out, they didn't. I got some in the mystery lots, but we think we pulled all the silver coins out of the lot. We put them in flips, and we're selling them at spot price or barely above spot price. And what he meant by that was we're going to go through and the silver weight is written on each of these coins. As you can see, this one has 0.0926 on it. And so we're just going to sit over here. We're going to calculate the silver value of every coin. We'll probably round it up to the nearest quarter and then sell it to you at right at or just barely above spot price. And there's some older things in here, so you might get a good value out of this. And so I came back to his booth later and I decided to pick up some of these. And I end up buying mostly smaller coins. And the reason for that was going through here, I noticed that some of these had actually prices written on them, which would have been much more above spot. And if I can get silver coins for spot price, I want to do that. So I kind of bought these just to get a test of how they're going to do it. And then it took them so long to calculate it that I had to take my son to a birthday party that afternoon, and I didn't have a chance to go back and add anything else to it. So I hope I see this dealer at the next show and can buy even more from this guy. So the one on top here is one of the larger coins. Almost all these are about the size of a United States dime. I have sorted them by date. So the newest one is on top, the oldest one is on bottom, and along the way, I'm going to give you kind of a running tally of what I paid, what they charged, how much silver's in each of these. In the very end, I'm going to add up what it was worth, what I paid, and the book value on some of these. And so the day that I bought this, the day that I'm recording this video, I don't know how long it's going to take me to post it, but silver prices today $31, and they figured everything at $30 an ounce. And so right away I get kind of a slight benefit. It's been hovering around 30 for quite a while, and so it just so happened on this day it's a little bit higher than that. But we're going to start with this coin from Morocco. It's going to be 100 francs, and most of these are labeled pretty good. So as you can see here, it is 72%, the silver weight of 0.926. And so you're going to take these weights and kind of multiply it by $30 an ounce. And that's going to get you, for this one, $2.78. Here we go. On the back here we have, we see a lot of these coins from Morocco kind of have the pentagon in a circle. But this comes from the French Protectorate of Morocco when the ruler there was Mohammed V. The catalog number is Y52 on that one. The next one is might be the smallest amount of silver of any of these coins, but it's from the country of Nepal. This one's from 1952, the 20 paisa, KM716. So it's 1/3 silver on this coin. We've got the trident on it. The date there at the very bottom, some of their numbers look like ours, but that's a 2000 and what? So that is a 2000, I think that's 2009 on their calendar. So our calendar, this was made 1952. It's a 20 paisa. So at 1/3 silver, the silver weight 0.0237, that translates to about 70 cents. The decimal system that they used started in 1932, and this was one of the coins they made at that time. Book value on that's going to be $1.25. This next one was the only one that did not have a silver weight written anywhere on it. I will say that they were all accurate in the silver weights that were listed on here. The funny thing is, I recognized the dealer that made this flip, and that dealer actually showed up at the same show, and I bought some coins from this same dealer. That's going to show up in another video. But as you can see, this one's from Lebanon, so it's got a cedar of Lebanon, like a lot of their coins, dated 1952, has 1952 also written in Arabic numbers on here. So 60% silver, single year issue. I guess that's AU condition, even though it's got a lot of spots on it. KM17. And since this one didn't have a silver weight written on it, I actually pulled this one up with my CoinScope app, went to Numista, and it said that this one has a silver weight of 0.0959, so that's $2.88, and he took my word for it. The catalog value on this one's going to be $5, so that's a pretty good price spread on that one. Next coin is from Fiji, 1943S, San Francisco. KM11A, 6 pence. The A has to do with the silver fineness on this coin. So at one time, these coins from Fiji were made out of 50% silver because a lot of the British-controlled areas had reduced the amount of silver. However, for a couple years during World War II, these silver coins from Fiji were made using the United States San Francisco Mint, and they went ahead and used the same silver fineness that they did on American coins at the time, which was back to 90%. So that's why it's 11A. Some older versions of this coin would have been made in 50%, but this one was 90%. And so it has the turtle on the 6 pence, which continued even while they were on the pre-decimal system, even with Queen Elizabeth on it. But there's our S mint mark under the 43. Right there. So I guess the silver weight's not written anywhere. Oh, there's our silver weight. 0818. So that's $2.46. Book value on that one is $4. Next we have Newfoundland, 1943C, and I'll talk about the mint mark before we're done. But this is, so this was when Newfoundland, before they were part of Canada. This is a 5-cent coin, so it's a pretty tiny silver coin, but it is sterling, 92.5. And the weight on this one's 0.0350. So we've got a silver weight of value of $1.05. Because of the spots, I'm going to say this one does not have a book price higher than the melt value. It's KM19. We have 1943 on this one. And our mint mark right there is the tiny little C there at the very bottom. So there are versions of this coin that do not have that C, which were made at the UK Royal Mint in London. If it has a C mint mark, that means that it was minted in Canada at the Royal Canadian Mint, which I believe is in Ottawa. So this was the last year that it was made before they in sterling before they switched it to 80%. Next country is going to be Chile, 1919, with a Santiago mint mark there at the very top. Santiago has a large S with a tiny little O on top of it. This is a 10 or 10 centavos from 1919. KM 156.2A. I've bought from this dealer before who likes to write melt price plus $1 or $2 or whatever he writes up, but I have purchased from this dealer before. This coin is 40% silver, so it has a pretty tiny silver weight here of 0.0193. So that's going to make this the smallest silver weight of anything in this video. So it's 60 cents of silver value. one point, someone wanted to charge $1.55 for this one. So this one is somewhat of a key date from Chile. So the book value on this one is going to be $2.50. So it is only 40%, but there are some variations of this coin, where one version was made 50% silver, but there's also a 45% silver. So the 45% came later, so during the time when it was at the least fine silver, there is nothing on here to designate that, but when it was 50% to 45%, there's actually 0.50 or 0.5 etched in the rock that the condor is perched on this side. Our next coin is going to be from British Guiana. Today that is Guyana, but up until 1916 it was British Guiana and West Indies was what was written on their coins. This one is going to feature George V. And as we flip this one over, it's going to be a 4 pence from 1917. And one of the things I like about buying coins like this is seeing the flips that other people have used. So just taking a look, there was a company here called NCA in Sun City, Arizona, where this came from, where they actually got out a typewriter and typed on this flip as I lose my coin. Go back in there. It's always interesting to see things like that, I believe. But as you can tell, this one it doesn't say the fineness on here. That's the one thing they left off. So this is sterling, 92.5. So the weight is 0.0561. That'll be $1.68. The book value on this one is $2.50. And as a 4 pence, that's not a value that you see very often in Britain. Usually actually in Britain, they were typically only made with the Mondi sets. But for some reason, they decided to use this in several of the countries that they ruled over. Another name for the 4 pence is a groat. So if you ever see that, that's the same thing. KM29, that's written in here. I don't know what they mean by Cat 5 on this coin. But the book value on that one is $2.50. Next coin is going to be from Finland. Going to be a 25 pennia. This was during the time in 1916 with an S mint mark. Actually, it's not a mint mark, but that's going to be the mint master initial. KM 6.2, 75% silver, so 0.0307. Going to get you 92 cents. Book value on this one's $1.50. So this comes from a time in Finland where they're essentially being ruled over by the Russian Tsar, which at the time was Nicholas II. But in 1917, there was a Finnish civil war. At least that's what the catalog said. And starting that year, in 1917, during the middle of the year, they started making this design, but would remove the crown off the top of the double-headed eagle on here. So they made it just like this in 1917, but later in the year they made the no crown version as well, which has a different KM number. Next coin is going to be from China. A 10 cents, that's also known as a Chow, catalog Y326. Whoever put this flip did not know how to read the date off of here, so they put it was either 1914 or 16. This comes from the time in China where the empire became the Chinese Republic. This is a general issue for the entire republic. So right here we have the Chinese number 3. So that means this is 1914. It's going to be 70% silver, 0.0608. That's $1.82 in silver melt value, $2.50 in book value. This is one of those where it is highly dependent on the value of the coin is highly dependent on the condition of the coin. These are hard to find in good shape. So if you have one that was in better shape, some of these can go for pretty high grades, especially the ones from 1916. Next one's going to be from Costa Rica, 1912, 90%, 5 centimos. Going to be a melt value over silver weight of 0.0289, so a silver value of 87 cents. They said very fine. I'm not sure I wanted to grade it like that. On the back it actually says 900, so that is 90%. Not sure what that means. But according to the catalog, $1.25 would have been an overpay for this one, perhaps. Next country is going to be Ethiopia, and again, this is a dealer that I recognize. Although I don't see him at this specific show. I do see him at the Chattanooga show and other of my favorite dealers because he just goes to the effort of writing so much useful information on every coin. So it's Ethiopia, part of the Ethiopia Empire. The person featured here is their ruler Menelik II. It's the last year before they switched over to a decimal system. So one thing I don't like is that he just abbreviated the denomination of the coin is just 1G. So this is 1 Gersh, which at the time was 1/20th of a burr. So it's KM12, it's 83.5% silver. There's your silver weight of 0.0377. He also writes the mintage, so 44 million in pencil. He wrote $2 on here. That is what my catalog says. The melt value on this one is $1.13. So it has the, as we see on other Ethiopian coins, we have the lion holding a kind of a staff with a kind of like a flag or a banner coming off of it. But I am unable to read all the other words that are on here. So I'll also point out that Ethiopia uses a different calendar than us. So our calendar, that's 1903, but their Ethiopian calendar said 1895. As we move to the 1800s, as we're working our way back in time, we've got one from Peru. A silver dinero. And if you didn't realize it, dinero is essentially the same, the word dinero is essentially the same as the United States using a dime. So a dinero is 1/10 of a peso, like in America, a dime is 1/10 of a dollar. So it does actually type out the word Lima instead of the Lima mint mark that we oftentimes see on other Peruvian coins. It's 90% silver, as they write on here, 9D Fino for fine. The F dot is kind of a variation on this one. 1896 is the year. We'll flip this one over. Here's the denomination at the bottom, un dino for dinero. There is a version of this coin. This one is catalog number KM 204.2. With older versions of this coin, the undino was written flat instead of curving along the bottom. Instead, it was written flat along the base of the seated lady on here. This specific year has a variation mentioned in the catalog with the E in the word firm right there. It's called the inverted E, and I could not find a picture anywhere of what the inverted E looks like. The inverted E is apparently the more common version than the regular E, but I don't know which is which, so I can't tell you which one I have. The silver weight on this one is 0.0723 ounces. That's $2.18 in melt. And someone put a $5 price on here, but I think that's too much. So going on the catalog, I'm saying this one is worth $2.25. Next country is Ceylon. Going to be a 10 cents. KM 94, 80% silver. So this comes to a nice round number, 0.0300. That's worth 90 cents. In Ceylon, the decimal system started in 1870. This one's so well worn that I'm going to say the melt value is the book value on here. Here we see the 1893, and it has Ceylon and easy to read letters at the top. Normally, if it wasn't so well worn, you'd see a large 1 and a large 0 with kind of a tree growing up between it, although that is pretty well worn on this one. The next country is going to be Russia, and we're back to a flip made by NCA. So this is a 10 kopeck from 1889. This dealer calls it extra fine, where they abbreviate extra as an E instead of an X. So it is a 10 kopecks, 20A.2, silver weight of 0.0289, so that's about 87 cents, but the book value on this one is $5. It is 50% silver on here. Nothing written on the back of that. Here we go. So we have essentially the same design here that we had on the coin from Finland earlier. So again, we have Nicholas II was the Tsar at the time. There's an A mint mark right here. So certainly like the look of that one. We're going to move to Mexico. This might be the most well-worn coin of the video. No, I think I have something worse coming up, but it is a 10 centavos from 1889. They wrote on here GA. I'll point that out on the other side. So Mexican coins at the time had a fineness of 90.3%. So a silver weight of 0.0786. That becomes $2.35, and this one's so well worn, I'll say the book price is the melt price. KM 403.4, because each mint gets its own different catalog number after the point, after the dot. So we flip this one over, and on the back you see the G with a tiny little A with a line under it is our mint mark of Guadalajara, and then silver S dot 0.902,7. So it's 90.27% silver, and I always thought it was unusual how Mexico had just that extra little bit of silver that other countries weren't really doing at the time. So because they're other coins that'll look just like this one, but that will start with the KM403, but have different mint marks other than the GA. Next coin is Nicaragua. From 1887, this one is a 10 cents, KM6. 80% silver, so 0.0643. Has their date of, I guess it's their date when they became independent, 15th of September, 1821. Nicaraguan coins also often today still feature 5 mountains with the Phrygian cap above it and a sunset going down behind the mountains in the middle of the triangle. So a lot of similar things that we see on modern coins here. Melt value on this one's going to be $1.92, but the book price on this one is $3. The first Nicaraguan coins were made in 1878, so it had been less than a decade when this one started to come out. Here's the back. There is an H for the heat and mint there at the bottom of this coin. Moving on to Denmark. 1874, it's going to be a 25 ore. 60% silver, so it's a silver weight of 0.0467. That translates to $1.40. KM 796.1. I like how on a lot of these older Denmark coins they have a porpoise on the back. It says 25 ore. This is Christian the Ninth. I've have some of his coins with the monogram, but this might be my first coin that actually has a portrait of him on here. This one is also from the video, the coin that has the biggest spread between the melt value and the book price. So this one would say, if it was in fine condition, it would say 20 bucks, but I'm not calling it fine, I'm calling it very good. Next coin is from Spain, so we've got back to 1862, and this one features Isabel II, and it has her name written here on the left. This one is in good condition. Silver weight of 0.0761, it's 90%. It's a melt value of $2.30, book value of $4. It is a 2 reals. And I dropped it. Let me pick it up. Seem to do that about once a week. It has the number 2 and then reals. This was when they were using the 8 real system, so this is their 8 real was about the size of a United States dollar or a British crown. And so this was 1/4 the size of that, which would have made it a little bit bigger than a dime in the United States. This one has a book value of $4. We're going to move to one of the countries that eventually formed up the German Empire. We have a coin from Bavaria from 1807. This one is in good condition, but they wrote Benz on it, so it's a little bit warped. But it is a 6 cruiser. The fineness on this one is 33.3%, just like the coin from Nepal early in the video. So with 0.0289 average silver weight, that gives us a silver value of 87 cents. But it's old enough that it has a book value of $3, even in this poor shape. We see the number 6 right here, and the K for cruiser on that side. Flip this one over. And the monarch here, the King of Bavaria, is Maximilian IV. I think its name was Maximilian Joseph, or spelled out here, Iosif. using an I instead of a J. So there are all of our coins. Now, I mentioned early in the video that they were meticulous about writing down the value of each coin. So he actually threw this in here, but as he was calculating what he had, he put the year and the year of the coin, the weight of the silver weight of the coin, and then put a value on each, and did a little bit of rounding up for each one, and came to a total price of $32.75. What was the actual melt value? I wrote it up right here, $29.68. So we've got about a $10 premium of silver on this coin. But then when I added up the book value of everything, it came to $56. So if you're going for the numismatic value, I'm saying 56. Now, on a lot of these coins, it is hard to find a book value that is going to be paid, especially when the coins are so well worn. But I mentioned at the beginning of the video, this was the same dealer that had the mystery lots. So this was, by the time I got to his booth, it was later on in the day, and I said, would you be willing to sell me another of your 10-pound or $10 bags and give me a little bit of a discount? Let's just make it $40. They said yes to that. So we've got one more mystery lot. This is, if you're only interested in watching silver, I guess there's no point in keeping on watching here, but if you just like the foreign coins in general, we've got a little bit more in here. And so this one I don't think is anywhere near as good as the first three, which is why it's not showing up in its own video. But let's just start digging through here and see what we've got. Zoom back in on it. I still think this is going to be still worth, about $7 to me with some of the stuff that we find in here. Like this, one of the earlier coins from Israel. That goes back to about the 1940s. Here's a newer coin from Israel. Got this one from Jordan. Can be a 25 fils. I see several coins from Ukraine in here. This one is from 2009, a 25 kopyak. From Sri Lanka, we're going to have this 5 cents from 1975. From Turkey, here's a 5 kurus from 1958. So I'm going to go through some of these pretty fast. From India, we've got this brass 1 anna from 1944. The smaller coin from Thailand. That one might be a 10 satang or maybe a 25 satang. They get pretty tiny. Here is, this one's in kind of gross corroded condition. This is a coin from Tunisia. It's 100 francs from 1960. From the same time, here's a 50 francs, also from, no, this one's 1983, so that one is newer. Start from Ukraine, here is the 10 kopeck. From 1976, we have an FAO coin from Somalia. So it's a 5 centi from 1976. Here is the 20 francs from Tunisia. So one of the best conditions so far. Oh, until I get to some of these spots on the back. But we've got a date of 1997 on that one. I always think this is a pretty coin from Italy with Emmanuel III. A 20 centesimi from 1940. From Costa Rica, we have this 50 centimos from 1982. From Panama, 2001, we've got Uraca on a 1 centesimo of a Balboa. Here's the 1 kopyak from Ukraine. The tiny steel coin. And I'm skipping over the stuff that's shown up in other videos recently. Here's one that I think is pretty rare. I don't see this one as often. This is going to be from Yemen, with a date of 1963. And I forget the name of, the name of the currency at the time was the buksha. This is a one buksha from Yemen. This is a French 2 francs. Another one from India, a 5 paisa from 1963. From Zimbabwe from 1980, we have a 5. I think they use cents, but we feature a rabbit on here. That's nice. Another of these from Yemen. This one's kind of shiny condition. This is going to be one from Morocco. And it's going to be half a dirham from 1974. For their calendar, 1394. That one's in pretty condition. Let's see what else we have in here. Anything good? Haven't found as many of these as recently. The one escudo from Portugal from 1984. Netherlands Antilles, 1979, a 5 cent. From South Africa, the 1 cent with, I believe these are sparrows. 1974 on that one. So we had this made out of nickel brass earlier, but this one is the copper nickel version, also with George VI on it, but that one's from 1947. This is a coin from Bulgaria. A lot of people mistakenly think these are from the Soviet Union, but it is a 10 stotinki from 1951. And several Ukraine coins in here. From Mozambique. These usually have a pretty good book value, and I seem to find one every month. It's going to be a 10 centavos. This one may have been cleaned, though. Got some weird coloring to it. Here's one from Iceland from 1969. This one's going to be a 50 aurer. So here's a coin from Saudi Arabia before they were on a decimal system. This is a 2 Gersh coin from their calendar of 1379, which is going to be 1959, I believe. There's a coin from East Germany, going to be a 5 Pfennig. Here's a 1 kopeck from the Soviet Union, 1963. From Yugoslavia, here's a 20 para. From 1977. Here's the 2 pesos from Colombia, 1980. From Czechoslovakia, here's a 50 hilarium from 1979. Coin from India, 1 paisa with a hole in it. Here's the design feature that only lasted 1 year with Queen Wilhelmina. There was a new queen by 1949, so that design on the reverse lasted for decades. So a 2 ore from 1957 from Sweden. Another from Zimbabwe. This is from 1980. This one's going to be the 10 cents, featuring a tree. From Belgium, we've got the 1 franc from 1996 with Albert II. Olav V, I believe, 1 ore from Norway, 1960, featuring, I guess that's a squirrel. Here's a Hong Kong 5 cents from 1950. Still had the security edge design to it, even though it's only a 5-cent coin. The 5 franc from Belgium from 1986. From Finland, we've got this 1955 1 marca. Pretty soon they were going to go through some currency revaluation, and the 1 pennia looked almost exactly the same. From Portugal, from 1966, we've got the 20 centavos. From Brazil, I usually find the coins from this area much more worn than this one, but features Getulio Vargas, a 20 centavos from 1945. I find those in very good, less than fine condition fairly often. Here's a Jamaican halfpenny from 1964, another coin that I usually find with the brass usually well messed up on that one. From Ceylon, here's a 2 cents from 1951. George VI on it. From Brazil from 1979 is the Cruzeiro. I believe this one features sugar cane. From Venezuela, here is a 1 bolivar. No, it's going to be a 50 centimos from 1965. So here's a zinc coin that hasn't turned black yet. So probably World War II days. Still in rough shape. But dated there, looks like that's a 1943. Part of me wonders, that doesn't look right. Part of me wonders if this has been plated or dipped in something. That one looks a little bit off. From Thailand, here's the 50th anniversary of the reign of Rama IX. So in 1996, they made all of their denominations have this look. I believe this is the 1 baht coin. Another Ethiopian coin. So we had the same lion that we saw in the silver coin, except the lion is facing the other direction. And a different monarch on that. That one's probably called a 1 centime. I believe that's the name of their currency now. So 100 of those make a birr. Here's someone that tried to take a round coin and turn it into a square coin, I guess. That's kind of weird. Another coin from Thailand. This one is a 25 or a quarter of a baht. My brain's fried at this point. From Bahrain, we have a 25 bills, I think, from 1965. It looks like 1970, but that's really how they write 1965. From Malaysia, we have a 1 cent from 1986, at a time where all of their circulating coins featured that design. The government building with the crescent moon and sun. Getting pretty close to the end here. From Austria, here's a 1 groschen from 1929, featuring the eagle with the crown above it. The design didn't last too long. So it's about to wrap it up here, I think. All right, so there's some pretty good stuff in here. That was seemed like that was more than a pound, but I got all that for 7.25, and I'd say that there's enough in there to make that have worth it to me. All right, I'll catch you in the next video, and I'll move on to a different dealer for the next one. All right, thanks for watching. Bye.